Chef Gabriel Ibarra. Gabriel Ibarra is a corporate chef and managing partner of Cappy's, Cappuccinos, La Fonda on Main, and Mama's Cafe. Gabe lovingly credits his mom as his first inspiration in his interest in the culinary arts. My mom's cooking was horrible, so it was either eat her bad food or learn to cook. I was looking for laughter. Here we go. He is an advocate for fair wages for restaurant employees, self reliance, growing your own food, and sustainability in the food supply chain. Ladies and gentlemen, corporate chef and partner, Gabriel Ibarra.
Hello. Um, just before we get started, I just have a few words to say. Working in a kitchen, I mean, we are a band of misfits, a real motley crew of all skin colors, races, and genders. I see our Black brothers and sisters in need. In the kitchen, we are all one team, made of several cooking stations with a common goal: produce the best food we can in a timely manner. If we see a station going down, we help and support them as a team. We support the Black community and Black Lives Matter. And let's go ahead and let's do this. 25 years ago, when I started, there was no foodie social media, YouTube, or Top Chef cooking shows. We worked in the back of the house, meaning don't be seen, stay in the kitchen, away from the guest. We are the faceless hands that create menus, create your food, and make your special occasions deliciously memorable. In today's society, there has been some good to come from the modern foodie social scene. The movement has introduced my profession to the mainstream by alluring curious folks into the behind the scenes professional lives of chefs. This has allowed for more interest in how food is made and the labor that goes into it, sort of. Um, I think this virus has shown us how fragile and vulnerable our food supply chain is. We have turned our proteins into huge manufacturing plants. If a rancher has an animal that are not suited for the factory, they cannot be processed. The closure of slaughterhouses and processing plants coronavirus outbreaks has exposed our food chain supply chain. As a result, by September, estimates are that 10 million pigs will be gassed, shot, overdosed, or killed by blunt trauma because they will not fit into the manufacturing plants. What a waste of life and food when we are in times of people in need. These plants are designed to slaughter pigs and cows of specific weight and size. And chickens, well, they'll be suffocated in a process that includes foaming. Remember the popular foam parties in the early 2000s? Exactly that type of foam. How sad and cruel. This may not bother me, become disconnected to our food. The labor that goes into getting our dinner and food is hidden and has become someone else's responsibility. Like the thousands of migrant workers who are at risk putting our fruit and vegetables and working in meat factories. Our meat factory workers are under such tight quarters, the risk of infection is almost guaranteed. People need to understand that most proteins were once living animals and should be respected. We've been hearing a lot of these on how these times are unprecedented, which begs the question, what will be the president? In a time that feels hopeless for restaurants, I feel hopeful that this could be a chance to consciously shift our attitudes and relationships with the food factories. The first shift should be in self-reliance of the country, as a community, as a consumer. As a country, we should stop outsourcing and processing animals and pay attention to the sustainability of the animal proteins we're consuming. Food should not be cheap. Working in our restaurants and makes the food for our guests and get what guests wants. If that's filet mignon and ribeyes, so be it. We have always been taught to give them what they want. Although we use local farms for some of our produce and local ranchers for some of our center of the plate proteins, I feel like such a hypocrite. Am I part of the problem? Goat is a sustainable red meat alternative, yet we are the only country in the world that does not utilize it regularly. As a community, we should create more barter and trade opportunities, real farmers market that uplift and support our farmers by showing them how to make connections, how to market themselves, and how to sustain their farm as a business. not farmer markets that hold back our farmers with strict contracts and penalties. Farmers don't know how to sell to restaurants, and chefs don't know how to buy from farms. As individuals, we should make conscious efforts to support them when we can. As individuals, we should grow our own food when possible, raise chickens and ducks for a constant source of eggs, hunt and fish, make choices to support small farms, try to eat more plant-based meals. I know if we all did our parts to be responsible for a meal or two a week in our home, what a difference it would make. Learn to hunt or fish, make friends with a hunter, learn firsthand what it means to take the life so that you and your family can be nourished. Go to a local butcher and ask if you can buy a quarter of a local steer that can be processed for you, or go in on a whole steer with a few friends. Start a small garden at home. Gardening is not as difficult as it seems. Sun, water, magic, and clothing, that's definitely optional in my opinion. As restaurants, we have been trained carefully to prepare and serve food with special attentions to health and safety standards, while giving a delicious meal and welcoming guest experience. However, once our dining rooms are open, will the responsibility of public health also put onto the restaurants? Some questions come to mind about our uncertain future. Will our host stands become a health screening area, taking your temp and asking a bunch of questions for contact tracing purposes? Oh, so I guess we'll have to keep secure records and destroy them later, like patient-doctor confidentiality. What the fuck? Are bussers becoming bouncers and mask enforcers and servers on cough and sneeze patrol? Really? Restaurants are already operate on such tight margins. How can we effectively staff and supply this sort of new responsibility? Contactless, the big new word. Should we aim for less contact? That goes against everything we know full service restaurants to be. Do we develop or invest in technologies to have less front of the house staff? Eliminate tipping, add service charges across the board? Yes, that means kitchen staff would get some of that service charge. You definitely don't want to get me started on that. Every time someone comes to your table, you are all at risk. To mask or not to mask? For me, memories are short-lived, and a mask is a way to remind people that things are not normal. I see them as a reminder and as a sign of respect to our guests and employees. In my 25 years as a chef, hell, even my 42 years on this earth, I have never been faced with something like this. None of us have. I know that during the hard times, we all seek comfort in the familiar and comfort in consistency of what is. What I hope is that this pandemic shifts us into finding comfort in knowing the power of our own choices and taking care of ourselves and our community.
All right, Ben. Gabriel, thank you so much, man. Uh, Thanks for the powerful message and all throughout the whole thing. That's definitely as someone that likes to eat food. I like to eat food, but as someone that likes to go out and eat, it's definitely been a challenging time. And I found your presentation very informative. So I know it's a bummer having to wear masks and stuff in the kitchen, but it looks like y'all are doing everything you can to be safe and make the best food possible. Um, Down the road, I mean, do you believe that these safety precautions are going to be implemented forever? You think that is the change that has just happened is the new standard?
Well, I mean, nobody really knows. It's not like there's just going to be some switch that gets flipped and all of a sudden it goes back to normal, and or what it was before this whole thing happened. And I mean, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Yes, sir.
But I would definitely say that people like you are making things feel positive and moving forward in these uncertain times. So thank
Yes,
you
sir.
so much for
Thank you.
being a badass. And I hope to eat at one of your establishments soon.
Come on in, look for me. You
All
can't
right.
miss me.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabriel Ibarra.